Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever on this fine planet you may be. My name's tomjsherlock, and I'm here to give you a little bit of a lowdown on the PTB, which is dropped on the 15th of February from Behaviour for Dead by Daylight, and it's the PTB, for the Sadako Rising chapter, which will be releasing on the 8th of March. Dead by Daylight today released about a 1-minute trailer for the chapter, so we're going to watch that now, and we can react to that and watch it for the first time together. So initially, I would say I'm absolutely terrified. I think what DBD, in my opinion, has lacked is truly terrifying killers. And if you've ever watched The Ring, I think we can all agree that is a truly, truly terrifying film in itself. So we've seen Sadako there, who is going to be our new killer. And then we have Yochi, who is going to be our new survivor as well. Oh my god, it is truly terrifying, isn't it? Dear Lord. I think this is going to be jump scares galore, which will be absolutely fantastic. I think, as all of us know, we love our horror games. That's why you probably play DBD, and you love the horror films as well. So looking at her first perk here is Merciless Storm, and that is when a generator reaches 90% progress, survivors working on the generator will be faced with the continuous skill checks. If they miss or stop repairing, the generator is blocked for 20 seconds. I'm assuming that's almost going to be like when you do those yellow glyphs. When you do those yellow glyphs, you have to time it perfectly or else you fail on it. And I mean, I don't know how effective this will be, because once you get it to 90% progress, you probably only need to hit a short number of skill checks, maybe for about 10-15 seconds, and then you could get that generator finished. So an interesting perk, adds a new dynamic to the game as well, but maybe one we won't see used a huge amount. So the next perk for Onryo is Call of Brine. Your psychic abilities influence technology in a devastating way. After damaging a generator, this perk becomes active for 60 seconds. The generator regresses at 200% of the normal regression speed, and its aura is revealed to you. So that's going to be some good intel, definitely some good intel. And as it states here, you'll receive a notification if a survivor is working on this gen and they complete a good skill check. So that's almost going to be like when a Discordance pops or a Tinkerer pops, you'll get a notification that someone's working on this generator. So if you're left in your sort of 3-gen situation, not only are you going to be able to get that 200% regression, which is really, really good for a killer, especially in a 3-gen, but you're going to get an instant notification if there's survivors working on that gen, which is really, I truly feel, going to help you secure your 3-gens and probably get you a lot more 4Ks than you would have before. So now we have the third and final perk for Onryo, and I have to say this is probably one of the most exciting perks going, Scourge Hook Floods of Rage. You form a physical connection with the entity and alter the rules of the trial. At the start of the trial, up to 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. You see their auras in white. That's pretty much standard. That is what all Scourge Hooks are like, so that's nothing new to learn there, don't worry. But the interesting thing about this perk is when a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge Hook, all survivors have their auras revealed for 7 seconds. So that is like a juiced up, super powered barbecue and chili. So if you're playing sort of a killer like Nurse or Blight, you can traverse the map very, very quickly. That's going to be able to give you a huge, huge advantage. And I think if this stays as it is without it being nerfed or patched, I think this could be sort of an intel gathering perk that we would see the majority of killers running. The only thing that I can maybe think is probably as a good counter to this initially would be the Distortion perk, which I think could probably come in handy. Distortion obviously hides you from sort of barbecue and chili, those sort of effects. It would also hide you from this as well. So Distortion we could maybe see come into meta if this Floods of Rage perk sort of stays at the same sort of power that it looks like it's coming into the game at. So a very exciting perk if you're a killer, a bit of a scary perk if you're a survivor, I would say. We have our new survivor, Yochi Asakawa. I'm sure I butchered that name, and apologies if I have. But looking at his first perk, it is called Parental Guidance. You have inherited the ability to hear the dead, and now the dead warn you of danger. After stunning the killer by any means, your scratch marks, pools of bloods, and grunts of pain are hidden for 8 seconds. So this is an interesting perk. It's one of those perks which probably isn't going to give you a huge advantage if you're looking to loot the killer and waste time with the killer. But if you're in a sort of near-death situation, if you're injured and you're on death hook, it could be a really, really handy perk to get away from the killer, to buy you that vital time to escape and lose the killer. I mean, it also means you don't have to run at Iron Will if you're in those dire situations. So an interesting perk, one which I probably wouldn't use myself, but if you're one of those survivors who likes to stay sneaky and stay away from the killer and survive as long as possible, then this could be a perk for you. So now looking at the second perk, Empathetic Connection. Your presence psychically projects itself to those in danger. God, I struggle with reading. Whenever another survivor is injured, they can see your aura within 32 meters, and you heal other survivors 10% faster. So this is a pretty juicy perk, sort of a bit like Bond or Aftercare. It's going to give you intel about sort of your friendly survivors who are a little bit injured. If you do a lot of solo queuing in DBD, this could be a good one to run. Not only are you going to be able to heal survivors faster, if this is combined with a boon as well, this could be even more troublesome for a killer. But you're also going to be able to see the aura of that injured survivor. So if your survivor friends are struggling and they're down, they're injured, you're going to be able to find them very, very easily, and you can go and help them out with that extra healing speed as well. So an interesting perk, once again, one of the perks which is probably a little bit less loopy. It's just going to be for one of those people, if you play on a stack and you have someone who sort of runs and will make it, maybe a healing boon, those combined with this could be hugely, hugely impactful for getting your fellow survivors back to the full health state. And now we have the third and final perk for Yochi. It's a boon and it's called Dark Theory. You're obsessed with the study of paranormal has given you an unprecedented knowledge of other realms and planes of existence. Press and hold the ability near a dull or hex totem to bless it and create a boon totem. Soft chimes ring out in a 24-meter range, so nothing new there, that is just a boon totem. Any survivors within the boon's range gain a 2% haste status effect. This effect lingers for 2 seconds after leaving the boon's totem range. You can only bless one totem at a time, and all equipped boon perks are active on your boon token. So this is really, really big. If you're facing sort of killers who are a little bit slower, such as a hag or a trapper, this could be really, really big. It could buy you many, many extra seconds in a chase. If you're going to have this combined with sort of maybe boon's shadow step, not only are you going to be hard to track by the killer within this boon's radius, you're also going to be 2% quicker. So against the slower killers, this could be a hugely, hugely crucial perk. If you combine this with resilience as well, not only are you going to be able to vault things quicker, you're also going to be able to run to those vaults quicker. So this is probably a boon which might be a bit more viable for those survivors who like to be a bit altruistic and sort of get the killer chasing them and extending those loops. So yeah, a boon, but once again, it is a boon, so you're going to have to be within that radius. If you can set up these boons, like most boons where they're so effective in dead zones of the map, not only are you going to be able to drawing the killer away from where they need to be, you're also going to be able to survive in those areas a lot longer with that 2% haste increase as well. But that's going to be pretty much me describing all the perks and such. We're now going to head over to sort of some gameplay from my experience of the PTB this evening. This is going to be the first day playing, so we're going to get a little bit used to the killer and the survivor. But I hope you've enjoyed this sort of informational section of the video. And I hope you enjoyed the clips and a little bit more explanation about how I feel the killer plays. So one thing I found about playing Onryo is that because she is an M1 killer, you do not want to take chases for too long whatsoever. You want to go for a hit and run approach and use her ability of dematerializing and teleporting between the TVs to your biggest advantage. I think what could be really effective with her is Phantophobia, just because you're going to want to try and use that sort of hit and run approach. Also, Ruin could be good, and also Dead Man's Switch, just because you're going to be forcing people off of gens by using your map pressure and teleporting between those TVs. And let's not forget that you get that insane bing bong speed boost when you come out of those televisions as well. So early doors, I would say you want to go for a hit and run approach, and that would be my top tier advice if you're playing Onryo in the PTB. But the problem is, because she's gone in and out of TVs while she's next to me, you can see my condemned status building up. So in a minute, we are going to have to get a videotape and use it get rid of our condemned status. So as you can see, my condemned status is juicing up. So we're almost going to be instantly Mori'd. So Red Sire as well, if she TPs near him, then he'll probably hit the full condemned status as well. So I really do think it's hugely valuable to use your teleport as much as possible. Even if you're not getting in chases, you're going to be forcing survivors to doing something other than the gen. Oh my god, we can Mori her, we can Mori her. Let's do a Mori. Alright, so we're going to have a look at her Mori for the first time, which is pretty pog. Oh! That's pretty terrifying, I'm not going to lie. Pretty darn spooky. Thank you very much for checking out the video, guys. That's going to be me done for the day. I'd be interested in the comments to know which sort of perks you're looking forward to using yourselves and which sort of perks you're really not looking forward to going up against. Me personally, I think I'll be running a lot more distortion just so my aura isn't revealed every single time the survivor's unhooked for 7 seconds, because that sounds absolutely terrifying. I cannot wait for the 8th of March when this sort of the new chapter goes live, and I'm sure you guys can't wait as well. But yeah, I'll see you soon, and thank you very much for checking out the video, and have a lovely rest of your days, mornings and afternoons. Cheerio all. Bye.